Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on increasing the number and quality of leads that you can receive from your Joomla site. My name is Bernie, and I am going to be your host and moderator today. I work for CloudAccess.net, and we are the official and exclusive host of the demo trial of Joomla at demo.joomla.org. You can launch free trials that are active for 30 days through our platform, and you can submit support tickets, use live chat, or call us directly to get help with your Joomla site. You can also upgrade to a paid hosting package at any point in time. And if you'd like to contact us, go ahead and tweet at us at CloudAccess.net during the webinar, or find the GoToMeeting slide out question area. You can send a question to me or to your presenter today, Ogi Nikolic. And Ogi is the CEO of Oaksense, a company that provides internet marketing and technical solutions for the Joomla content management system. Basically, they help businesses deploy, maintain, and improve Joomla websites. Today, Ogi is going to talk about his Oaksense methodology. And if you are improving your Joomla site but not seeing new leads and customers, if you're spending too much time reviewing website analytics but not acting on your data, or if you're paralyzed about what Joomla site improvements to make next, this webinar is for you. So, Ogi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. First of all, I would like to thank Cloud Access for hosting the webinar, and then I'd like to thank everyone else for attending the webinar. I know your time is very valuable, so let's get started. So basically, in today's, we need to switch to my screen.
Yep, just one second. I do want to remind everybody that we are recording the webinar, and it will be available later on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/cloudaccess. At the very end of the presentation, we'll hopefully get to all your questions. Ogi may want to respond to some during the webinar, so find that GoToMeeting slide out question area, post that question, or tweet at me at CloudAccess, and I'll get your questions to Ogi, and we'll show you a place where you can follow up with him at the end of the webinar. I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to you right now.
Okay, so I haven't done any webinars for a while, but I think we'll do really well. Basically, in today's webinar, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to show you our general process for increasing the number and quality of leads using our Joomla website. For the past 7 years, we've only worked with businesses and nonprofit organizations with the Joomla site. Now, I will also show you a proof that this process works really well, where we helped this client quadruple their new leads within the last 6-month period. And I just finished a bi-weekly conference call with this client, and he's very happy about the results we are generating right now. So basically, before I even show you the process, one thing I would like to do is explain you the benefits of why you would have a process for increasing the number and quality of your leads. Now, basically, you need one good thing about the process is that it helps you focus on things that are important, such as qualified leads and customers, and not just in terms of things like traffic or likes, etc. Other things that this process helps you improve, it helps you improve long-term business results. It helps you accomplish more in less time. It also, you may be very good about, let's say, internet marketing or your business, but you also have other people in your organization that are helping you with the work. So this process gives you a structure to execute improvements on your website. And basically, I'm sure we all know about potential improvements we could make to our websites, but this process really, this process really helps you maximize on the business assets that you already have. So that's very good about it. And it also makes sure that you don't obsess too much about the metrics and data. So it helps you balance analysis and actual implementation of things. Now, one of the reasons why I like this process is that it's repeatable, it's measurable, and it helps you align your website with your business goals. So now, hopefully, that I convinced you that you do need a process for improving the website leads, the quality and the number. Let's talk a little bit about this process. Now, the process really starts with first revisiting your business goals and your business strategy. So basically, it's important that you have like a good business formula in place before, and if it's not going to work in theory, most likely it's not going to work in practice either. So you should have a good business plans and good business strategy. From that point, we go into reviewing your website analytics, finding out through analytics what's happening actually on your website, what people are doing, etc. And then the third step that most people don't actually do really well on their website is they don't spend enough time understanding and surveying their visitors. They don't ask them questions, and this can actually be done in many different ways. For example, you could run surveys for public visitors, you could run surveys for people that have contacted you, and those that became successful customers. So you can better understand who these visitors to your site are. Also, the next step in the process is to examine the marketplace, to know who your top competitors are, what people are saying, what your potential customers are saying on social media, review sites, and there are many, obviously, tools that are good for that. In the next step, one thing that often, as a business, we don't do, we don't collect persuasive business assets. This would mean such as case studies of projects that we have completed successfully, or news mentions, or some of the other things that we do have that our competitors do not have, and something that our potential customers would find persuasive. After that, basically in the step 6 of the process, you basically gather all of the information and research that you have done in the previous stages, and you figure out, you list all potential improvements that came to your mind, and basically then you execute one that generates the most business value, that has the highest likelihood of providing a good return on your investment. So basically, typically when you design your experiment, typically what's involved is creating some test pages. At that point, you will probably have 2-3 versions, so you're going to run some A/B tests. And after you run the experiment, depending on how much traffic you have, you're going to evaluate results and decide if this improvement was actually good or if it didn't generate any value. So, and that will help you decide if you're going to keep that change or if you're going to revert back to what you already have. So basically, in a nutshell, basically that's what the process is. Now, what I was hoping to do now is to better illustrate the process. I was hoping from the audience if I could get. Okay, so I guess can you guys hear me better now? Sorry, I just got the message. So basically, could you to better illustrate the process? What I was hoping if we could have several examples of websites, like if you could type in your website name in the chat window, especially if you're running like maybe an online store or potentially like a service website?
Yeah, folks, use that GoToMeeting slide out question area and let Ogie know what type of website you want to create. Don't send us your URLs, please. Tell us the basic style of site that you're wanting to create. Is it a e-commerce site, a directory, blogging style site, a social networking? What do you want to create? So Alan has posted that he's looking for a site for a social club. And Ravi is creating an online store. Richard has a real estate property management site. And Mike also has a real estate investment site. Bob has posted systems development and consulting. Erna has also posted about real estate, and John has posted about a Chamber of Commerce page.
Okay. So basically, I mean, we have a lot of good examples. I mean, I was actually hoping to have a specific example and maybe bring it up on my screen, but that's okay. Let's maybe talk about the online store if that's possible. Who recommended an online store?
There were a few. Ravi said online store, and it was also Alma who said e-commerce. Now, would you like to look at one of their specific URLs to talk about?
Well, I'll just comment very briefly. I mean, basically, we are not going to be able to comment in great detail, but let me just comment on an e-commerce store in general. Basically, one of the things that I find typically with e-commerce stores is that the business owners typically work with business owners that have maybe 2-3 people running the entire online store, and basically they're typically very unsure about their business goals and their business strategy. You know, they've never developed a strategy, so before moving to the next steps, it's very important to solidify the business goals and business strategy. So typically what I offer and recommend Joomla site owners is, you know, let's do a draft business strategy, and let's make sure that we have something in writing, what we think our business strategy is, before we proceed to the next steps. Now, then in the steps, in the step 2, we look at obviously the website analytics, but we also look at the store data. Typically, what we find that most of our store owners, they typically actually improve their results year after year, but sometimes they would like to increase the revenue and profits even more. So basically, when we look at what's contributed to the most of the increase, identify potential opportunities. One of the big recommendations, for example, for analyzing the traffic sources on an e-commerce site, I would recommend Mouseflow. Mouseflow basically records individual user sessions to the website, so you can basically track the visit from the very start of the process to the point the visitor actually leaves their website, and basically you are able to record also only particular segment of the website visit, for example, just the checkout process. And this also helps identify and ensure that you don't have any user experience issues. Okay. So basically that website is mouseflow.com if you are interested in checking it out. Now the other, I'm working right now with one of store owners basically on surveying the visitors. Basically that's the step number 3. We basically ask a few questions during the checkout process, following the checkout process, and we also ask questions of the most valuable or the customers that produce the most revenue. Like we actually generate surveys for those people, and basically there is a lot of data with e-commerce sites. It's just important to know where to look. Basically related to, let's say, examining the marketplace for e-commerce stores. In this particular case, we're evaluating what top 3 competitors are and what the target audience is saying. Now, so basically related to persuasive assets, we're just making sure at this point that they have very best possible reviews on review sites like Google reviews, Yelp, and Facebook comments. So, and these guys have very good customer service, so we wanted to figure out ways to highlight that a little bit more on the website. So basically, once you do, let's say, the first 5 steps, then you'll probably come up with a large number of ideas what to do next, what potentially to do next. So I would recommend just picking one that creates the biggest return on the investment and executing that. Okay, so that would be related to e-commerce store. Bernie, maybe we could briefly talk about, is there anything related to maybe a local business or like a service type website?
Yeah, well, there were several that people were interested in learning about. There was, folks, if you want to add that again, your specific sort of business
Right.
plan.
I guess maybe this would could potentially apply to real estate. Basically, the same thing. What's really important to have business goals, figure out your business strategy. For example, analyzing the traffic sources, figure out where your best customers come from. In the process, one thing that I haven't mentioned related to understanding your visitors, it makes sense to segment your target audience so that you can better understand each group of your target audience. And basically there are basically three categories of questions. There are those for people who just visited your website but they've actually never contacted you. There's another group of questions related to people who have contacted you but they decided not to do business with you. And then it's also important to survey your best customers to find out what they find the most valuable about your service. So basically, related to identifying persuasive business assets, I would say for, let's say, local businesses, for service type businesses, recent projects, about us page, and your solutions and services are probably your best persuasive assets. Okay. Okay, so are we able to, okay, so basically I hope this helped a little bit in understanding how the process works in general. Now what I was hoping to do is show you what we did for one of our clients for the past 6 months. Their CRE news. So basically, first what I'm going to do is I'll give you a little bit of background behind CRE News. Basically, Commercial Real Estate Direct is a leading source of commercial real estate news in the U.S., and we've been working together since January 2011. Basically, they initially contacted us related to their disaster recovery process and Joomla site security. But then 6 months ago, we started talking about improving their number and quality of subscribers. We did initial free consultation, and then we basically signed an agreement where they would benefit from Oaksense methodology. So we just finished the initial 6 months, and we have another 6 months at least to go. And basically, so far the results are pretty good. We actually quadrupled their quality leads, and so basically I will tell you a little bit now what we did for them. And we obviously use the process that I just talked about. So the first step, it was to discuss their business plans and business strategy. To do that, we interviewed one of two business partners to understand what their business strategy and priorities were. We wanted to make sure that we understand how their business model works, what the history of their business is, the current status, and what they're planning for the future. The second step that we did was to review the website analytics. We actually found a lot of issues because they weren't very proactive about their website analytics. They were doing really well, but they did not consult very much with their analytics in the past, so we did find a lot of issues. So basically, to survey the visitors, typically we would use website forms, but in this case, what our client did, he mostly, considering the nature of the business, he used telephone to survey most of the visitors. Although we did actually have some forms that we put together. Like, for example, this was one of the forms that we were actually, a form similar like this we used for surveying the visitors. Now, one thing that they didn't do really well on their website is this is their homepage. They did not list their persuasive assets really well, so I'll show you how we implemented those. One of the things in the process of designing experiments, we found that it would be the most useful to optimize the entire conversion funnel from the initial landing on the website to the point where people were signing up for the service. So basically, with each new improvement that we did, we wanted to make sure that we improve the awareness of the service, to increase the interests of those that ended up on the website, and to improve the desire for having the subscription, and obviously the action where people would actually sign up for the trial. So basically, now let me talk a little bit about specifics. We've done, honestly, a lot of things over the past 6 months. We've considered many different options and possibilities, but basically these are things that we have done. One thing, they have a lot of content. They publish about 10 articles every business day, and they've been doing that for the past decade, so they have a lot of content on the website. One thing that we did is we made sure that each paid article, so the site consists of free articles and paid articles. Now, with this site, with the improvement, we also included an intro to each paid article. So we ended up getting a lot more indexable content in the Google index. So basically, we were able to dramatically increase the number of indexed pages. There were also some issues related to crawlability. We also removed those. One thing that we also did is, by default, Joomla would just say that, to read the rest of our article, you have to log in. So we added this subscribe to read more, so people don't have to click on the subscription or look for the login module. They could just click on subscribe to read more if they weren't already a member of the website. And one of the other things to improve indexation, we ensured that the last 50,000 articles published on the website were actually fed to Google Webmaster Tools to identify if there are any issues with indexing the website. Okay, so the other thing that we did is we wanted, a lot of people searched on the web for a particular keyword on Google, and they would end up on they would end up on a landing page like this. So basically, we wanted to explain really well what the service was about. So after each paid article, we put one of these explanations, what the service is about, and basically this Learn More leads to the payments plan and subscription plans page. So basically, the idea was to, in a nutshell, display the value proposition, make it much more obvious. So we also, on the home page, they didn't have any calls to action. So basically what we did is we implemented this module right here. So now the subscription page that they had on their previous version of the plans page was very basic. It had some user experience issues. It didn't look professional. So basically what we did is we did a much better design. We also we couldn't list their clients specifically because of various non-disclosure agreements that they have, but basically we said that top Fortune 100 companies use CRE News. Also, we included a download to a sample of their PDF newsletter that they send out each week, so people could get an idea of what they would be getting. We weren't sure about what type of questions people might have had related to subscriptions, so we added this form here, and actually this form led to several good new clients that they generated, so that was really good. They're often cited by Wall Street related to some of the articles that they write, so basically we included that, and at the same time there was some kind of scandal, security data breach with Bloomberg, so we added a security and data policy because a lot of the companies that use this service are very careful about the security, and they don't want their usage being tracked, what they're reading on the website. And basically we included contact information. All of this information here that you see now, basically none of that was previously there. We really wanted to include in detail what's provided, and then we did another we repeated calls to action related to the membership options. Now, okay, the other thing is we also made it, user experience was also important to us to make it as easy as possible. Most of these people, they're financial experts, but they're by no means like computer experts. So basically what we did is we wanted to make the forms as easy as possible. So we simplified the registration forms, and we did some other small tweaks to the design and user experience. We also experimented with the offer. So we basically, the trial offer initially was $55, so we decreased it to $1. Basically, the reason why we did that is in some of the surveys we got feedback that that was an objection, and after all, that didn't make the $55 trial didn't make that much money, considering that the full subscription is about $2,000. So basically, we decreased that to $1, and that experiment actually proved to be pretty useful. So we left it like $1. The reason why we didn't decrease it to $0 or to make it free trial is because we wanted to cut down on a number of bogus leads, and it's basically this way people had to verify who they are. At least we knew they are actual people and not just some spam bots. So okay, so basically those are mostly improvements that we made over the past 6 months. Now, just within the last 2 months, we actually started getting much better increase in leads, and also I talked to our client-related quality of these leads. The quality is also at least as good as it previously was. So we call this project a success. So we have another 6 months to go. So we'll do even better. So okay. Now you may be interested, considering we're all Joomla users, you may be interested about Joomla extensions that are used on this website. We actually there are a few more, but nothing special, too special. So basically, the site is using Joomla 2.5, and we use chronoforms. We just use chronoforms for the past 4 or 5 years, so that's why we use that there. This is the subscription extension. We used K2 because they needed some additional fields for tagging. We used XMap for feeding that to Google Webmaster Tools, and we use SH4 for SCF for producing friendly URLs, page titles, and inserting descriptions. Now, so basically what I just did is I showed you the general process, and I showed you an example of our client who is using Oaksense methodology and who is producing great results. And I hope you will be able to increase your results too. Now, I do have like a few tips, like after using the process for some time, we've learned a lot. So basically, it's one thing that's important is to be patient. As you noticed with this, like we only started getting more significant results after the initial 4 months. So basically, right after the first 2 months, we started increasing the number of the views on the plans page, but it took us a little bit longer to start increasing quality leads. So it's very important to be patient. The other recommendation is to focus on optimizing on revenue, not just focusing on increasing the conversion rate. The process is very detailed and comprehensive. I would also recommend, for Oaksense, I do a decent amount of sales. So basically, it's also like once you earn these new clients, you also need to work with them and generate additional upsells, cross-sells, and help them help your clients achieve even better results. So basically, related to this is a repetitive process. So to run through this process, typically it takes about, for our existing clients, I would say in average, we complete the whole process within 1 month. And then we obviously do it again for another month and so on. So, but for CRE News, considering they had more traffic, we were able to squeeze, I think, about 10 experiments so far. And so, you know, if you have someone helping you with the process, basically what's important is to meet with that person at least on a bi-weekly basis. So like with our clients, I meet on every other week. We meet and work on discuss experiments. So basically it's important to do the surveying. I say don't be afraid to experiment, focus on execution, don't spend too much or too little money, and focus on iteration. Don't plan experiments that are not too long in duration, ideally less than a month. So. Okay, so that's basically what I had for today. You could visit this link for more information, and I'll stay as long as needed to answer additional questions.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Ogi. Good job. I think explaining the basic sort of functionality of your methodology there. We did have a lot of people kind of posting their business ideas or what their current business is, and Brandon commented that they're creating a local project planning and interior design type of company. Brett has created a CPA firm. Dennis is creating some type of a rental, maybe a home rental type of site. And Charles is developing an online site that will be heavily engaged in social marketing. They're in their building stages. Now, Willie has several very pointed questions for you, and I'm going to get to those now. And Willie wrote, would you segment your customers by the landing page they arrive at?
Well, I think often that makes sense to segment them by the landing page. I would. It also depends at what point. Let's say if they're potentially going to buy something from you, at what point of the buying process are they at? So.
Okay. Willie, hopefully that helps you. Several other questions from Willie. Let us know, folks, if anyone else wants to post a question to Ogie directly. Willie also wrote, do you incorporate intercept techniques and sampling algorithms to survey site visitors?
Okay, so basically related to surveying the visitors, what we use is we don't actually, I would say, like, depending on, we primarily target particular sections on the website. So if a landing page is talking a particular topic, we'll ask related questions to that topic. We don't honestly have anything more advanced than that. We also ask survey questions at different points of the process. Like, let's say if someone just completed the purchase or they made a payment, typically we would offer them an incentive to answer a few survey questions potentially. Or if you know someone, if you're able to talk to them, call them and ask them some questions related to what you want to know. So, but we don't really honestly have anything too sophisticated at this point.
Okay, and so what are your measurement tools? So how are you measuring subscriptions, site visitors? You did mention a few of the tools you use, but what?
Right. Okay. Sure. So basically, for this CL News website, basically the trial users, we just use the backend subscription component. So basically, so for this, let's see, we use the OSC membership. So basically, OSC membership you're able to count the number of subscriptions you've produced, or you have stats right there. So, so the end result is well known. Typically, we would use at this point we use primarily use Google Analytics.
Google Analytics and the subscription extension. And Willie's also asked what tools you use for your survey, and that's the Chronoforms, correct?
Right. We basically use Chronoforms now. What we would do is we would enable the database storage, so all of the submissions would be stored in Chronoforms database. So then, when you're ready to review the results, you would just go to Chronoforms backend and export survey results into a spreadsheet, and then you could use Google Docs or Excel.
All right. And Mike has posted a question. Have you noticed a big difference in the size of contact forms? Too many fields deters leads?
I think that's true. I mean, nobody likes to fill out long forms. I think related to surveys, I think what's important is to offer incentive. I mean, I think if the incentive is good enough, people will fill out the form no matter how long it is. So let's say if you're subscribing for a service that's very valuable, people don't mind filling out all of the information. Like, I could perhaps specifically comment on CRE News. I mean, basically, we could have asked for less information. For example, But I mean, considering the nature of the industry, um, the finance world, like it's no one who is not a reputable business will not. Everyone will have, let's say, business name and daytime phone, and basically, the subscription, the site itself is fairly unique, so it's not just based on the content and information that's provided. I think people don't assume it's a spam service, so people are willing to provide all this information that we ask for. And obviously, there are some things that we obviously have to ask for, like billing information and payment details. And typically, often, like people will there will be perhaps some billing or sales questions, so it's important to gather like phone information.
Okay, Mike, hopefully that answers your question. Ravi posted a question. It says, hello, I'm developing an on-site store affiliate marketing website. Can you kindly suggest where Ravi should focus more of his attempts to increase leads of his website?
I see. Well, basically, I'm glad you asked that question because this process that I just talked about is primarily and only used for websites that are actually already up and running, and we typically work with businesses that already produce like decent revenue on their website. So you would not, I would say you would not use the same process for when you're creating like a new project, because at that point there are many more questions that you need to consider. I would say this process wouldn't be good if you are looking to design a new site. I would recommend something a little bit different. So.
All right, and Mike says thank you that you have answered his question. We have no additional questions at this time, so let us know if you have anything else for Ogi today. I'm going to go ahead and steal the presentation back. We might pass it back to you if we do have more questions and need you to elaborate a little bit there, Ogi.
Okay,
but
that's fine.
Everyone should be able to see my screen right now, and I'm at Oaksense.com, and I wanted to show you a way that you could follow up with Ogi if you'd like to. Come to Oaksense methodology here, and you can learn more about the methodology that Ogi has talked about today. And if you scroll down, I believe there's a contact form at the bottom of the page where you can reach Ogi directly. And I also want to remind you that if you visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CloudAccess, you can watch a recording of this webinar later today. If I scroll down here, it's going to be in this playlist, our special Joomla webinars playlist. You can access this a little bit later. You can always visit our site too if you would like to launch a demo trial of Joomla. And we have a lot of resources here to help you learn about Joomla. If I go to our training tab, you can search our Joomla knowledge base. We have hundreds of documents and videos to help you learn how to use Joomla, and we have a lot of Joomla webinars as well. We do have free daily webinars for learning the basics, but we have a number of upcoming special webinars as well. And after today, next week, we're going to host a CMC MailChimp for Joomla webinar to learn how to integrate MailChimp easily in Joomla. We have a Hikashop webinar coming up the 1st of November. Several others are in the works right now, and we just need to kind of get these pages up and get the message out to our clients. So I want to say thank you for attending, and Ogi, thanks for helping us out with today's webinar.
Oh, thank you, Barney. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying thank you as well. And feel free to attend another webinar in the future, folks. Also, don't forget that the Joomla World Conference is coming up. If you go to conference.joomla.org, you can learn all about this conference in Boston, Massachusetts in early November. We're going to be there from CloudAccess.net, and if you're anywhere near Boston during this time, you should plan to stop by and say hello. So good luck developing your Joomla site, folks. Thanks for attending, and we hope to see you in another webinar really soon.